But Mahatma Gandhi, long ago, a group of young people went to him in 1920s and asked him, Babuji, we want to help the rural India. They are from city people, educated people. How can we help? He said, this rural people don't want your shramdan. They want your brain. He said, marry brawn and brain, or marry intellect and labor. You bring your intellect, they have the labor. I think that is badly needed in the case of Narega. We have to, once they have provided the labor, over 60,000 crores worth of labor, we have to bring, at the moment it's the Panchayat's responsibility, the watershed, because if you read this morning a mention was made about the purposes of the Narega, watershed management, water harvesting, soil conservation, all of them are exceedingly important for agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and also for climate resilience. I think we should bring in, at least for each area, each district or wherever possible, a small technical consortium of people who are familiar with, who are knowledgeable in water management, water harvesting. The impact which this kind of marriage can do, in the Northeast you all know about Cherrapunji. I don't know whether anybody is from here, now called Sora. It was formerly called Cherrapunji. I have read in my books, school books, the highest rainfall in the world and so on. And I was shocked when I first went there in the month of November, there was no water. I said, I read as the highest rainfall in the world, and now there is no water at all. Because the water goes away, water disappeared. Now the Jal Kund movement has started, fortunately, the water harvesting, maintenance, small ponds, Jal Kund. It is transforming that area. Similarly, the Narega workers can help a lot, but I think we have to give them some prestige to their work. They should not be just called some beneficiaries, some labor, and so on. They are also human citizens, our own citizens. So I have been pleading that we should establish at least a water security savior award, some prestige award for them, for the best Narega group, which has done good work in terms of water. No, unless you give them some prestige that they are doing great work, and they are very poor people, and some amount of money, about 10 lakhs price and so on, would help them. So we should, Water Security Savior Award. Fortunately, the government has installed Genome, the Ministry of Agriculture, Genome Savior Award for tribal women and men and others who have conserved genetic resources. Dr. Suman Sahai's group got one of the awards and so on. The number of groups which have been arrived. I think this is very important in this country. We should give some prestige to work which may be physical labor, but nevertheless which is of great national importance. According to the write-up, if you write up, they are the most important people in the country today. If you see the write-up for the Narega, they are doing the most important work, and we should. My third is the question of today, from the voices from the grassroots, the very first one in the morning, one of the farmers said, farming is in a bad shape. Farming is in a bad shape, and we should do something for it. It's also the conclusion of the National Sample Survey, where 45% of the people wanted to quit farming if they have another option and so on. This country cannot afford to make the farmers unhappy, because with the population which is growing, as was mentioned. Therefore, I think we should, the national policy for farmers, which was adopted by government and placed in Parliament in the year 2000, it clearly, those of you who have not read it, you should read it. It's a good document, because neither in the colonial period nor in independent India there has been a policy for farmers. There has been policies for agriculture, but not for Kisans. For Krishi there are policies, but not for Kisan. And therefore this is the first time we have a policy for farmers. And it starts by saying that we must now give a reorientation to agriculture, an income orientation to farmers. Agricultural progress should not be measured entirely by the growth in wheat or rice, but in the real income of the farmers. Like you know, the six pay commission, all the time the dearness allowance for organized sector and the regularly highly paid employees, you have methods of adjusting. But where is why did the farmer say farming is in a bad shape? He mentioned in the context of their economic well-being, their indebtedness and so on. Even Punjab farmers are highly indebted. So I think we should try to see that, and I think the afternoon Dr. R.B. Singh or somebody mentioned that the actual income of small farmers is one-fifth of the other kind of non-land-owning people. It's a very dangerous thing. The third point I want to make is this whole question of regional and international partnerships. The Himalayan ecosystem was mentioned by a friend from ICIMOD. I think that's a very important area. I think the government will have to look at when we talk about, you see, the Brundtland Commission. I was chairing the Commission's Committee on Food Security and Forestry. It is also published separately as a book, the report of the committee I chaired. Finally, in the last round, what should be the title of the report? The question of the title came. Various suggestions were given by different members. Finally, we chose the theme, Our Common Future. Because the main point of the common future, our common future is, however much political frontiers may exist, but ecologically our fates are intertwined. Ecologically our fates are intertwined. Similarly, the question of many of these Sundarbans, for example, between Bangladesh and India, nearly 2/3 of the Sundarbans is in the Bangladesh part, 1/3 is in the Indian part. The Himalayan ecosystem was mentioned. So wherever there are these contiguous ecosystems, I think both countries or many countries will benefit. Even the Indus, we had a relation with Pakistan. This year Pakistan went through very unprecedented floods, that may happen in the future more frequently. So we hope that when we talk about climate change, of course, climate change, as I mentioned this morning, there is both common and differentiated impact. There are common impact but differentiated in our own country. There are different parts. Punjab will be much more susceptible and so on. The climate risks. And finally, our Minister Jairam Ramesh, when he inaugurated this morning, he talked about the 4 dangers of climate change to India, and that we are unique in having all the 4 dangers. He talked about the adverse impact on economic growth in terms of primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector, and then the rise in sea level. We have the large areas. And when I am reminded, whenever there was so much emphasis on traditional wisdom and knowledge, when after tsunami in January 26, 2004, we were asked to send a team to Andamans to develop what the Prime Minister called post-tsunami New Andaman. That report is available. Our team, when it went to Nicobar, Great Nicobar, the original, immediately after tsunami, there were reports that the ancient Nicobaris have all disappeared. They must have been drowned. Now, what happened was, these people had a premonition. Something like tsunami is coming. They all got into the highest point of highest tree, and after 2 days they came down. Now they have given a number of reasons how they suspected something terrible is going to happen. There's a lot of traditional wisdom. We have to marry it with the Chennai Declaration called eco-technology. That means marrying traditional knowledge and the ecological prudence of the past with modern science and technology. That is what leads to eco-technology, or the blue economy, as Dr. Khosla mentioned. So he mentioned about the rise in sea level, the rate of retreat of glaciers in the Himalayan area, which is important. Finally, of great importance to tribal and Adivasi areas, the climate risks in mineral-rich areas like Jharkhand and so on, where iron ore and coal, many of them are there. So this has been a very useful day, and I want to thank all the sponsors who were kind enough to promote it. Primarily they were Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, UNDP, IUCN, Development Alternatives, and the Watershed Trust. All of them, we are grateful. I want to express, we have a steering committee for this, which has been meeting at the very instance of Gerald very frequently, to guide the process. I want to thank all the members of the steering committee, all those who have supported this in different parts of the country, the consultation process which has gone on. And from the STC side, Gerald Weigel, he's here, and Dr. Vishwanathan, I don't know where he is, and Jayalakshmi, many of them, I don't want to mention all the name, but he is the leader, the climate leader, Dr. Weigel. Please stand up, we'll give a big hand to all of them, big hand to Dr. Weigel, and Vishwanathan is also there somewhere, and oh yes, he is there, and all of them, Jayalakshmi is somewhere. We thank all of you and thank of all the supporters who have come today, and above all the participants. Many of you have stayed back in the morning. There were 150 or so. I think now it has come to 50. Not bad. It is still many of you who are here. And above all, I want to thank Mr. Patara for his wonderful. Where is he? He's here. He will come again for his wonderful. Managing the whole program according to the time. We are slightly about 15 minutes later. But during the tea time, you can discuss those people again. I want to thank the Honorable Minister and for his initiatives. And particularly, he has now announced a much more intimate dialogue between the scientific community and the administrative community or the planning community. It will be beneficial to both science and the administration. This kind of symbiotic relationship and a partnership which will be important. Thank you, Mr. Rashmi, for your detailed treatment of sustainability, which was very interesting. And Dr. Manjesh Singh Kang, he has got a very difficult one. He has to make the whole Punjab agriculture put on a sustainable pathway, low carbon pathway. But that is important because Punjab is still for a long time going to be the major custodian of our food security system of the country. And therefore the Punjab, Haryana, Western UP area is very important. Thank you all, but Mr. Patara will have the last word, please.
Thank you, sir. More than anything else, I'd like to express our sincere appreciation and thanks for the leadership and guidance you have provided, Professor Swaminathan, through this process. And would also like to express our gratitude and sincere thanks to the Minister, to Dr. Manjeet Singh Kang and to Dr. Rashmi for having joined us today and shared their valuable time. If you could accept a token of our appreciation, sir. Thank you very much. And with that, we conclude the National Policy Dialogue on Climate Change Actions. Thank you very much, participants, for having joined us today. We hope it was both interesting and useful, and hope you'll help us in taking this forward. Thank you very, very much. I'm sorry, I missed the most important announcement, which is that tea and coffee are served once again in the banquet room, and you're all please invited to join us.